Skill number 5, they encourage learning by doing. This is one of my favorites. I'm talking about experimentation. I'm talking about the right to make mistakes. And in some of the courses that I give, in some of the management courses that I give, when we talk about making mistakes, it's this humongous thing. It's really this humongous thing. These days, my son is in the bowling league on Saturday mornings. So every Saturday, I get about an hour, the time to drive him and drive him back, where I have some privileged time with my son, and we talk about what's going on in his life. And we were talking last weekend about a math exam that he did recently. And he told me, Dad, you know, I'm really good in math, and I feel bad because I'm looking at my grade for this semester. He had 95 in his first semester, and now he's like down to 84 in this one. He said, I had one exam, it was like 63%. I said, really? Wow, that's so unlike you. And he goes, yeah. But he said, you know, I should have gotten more points. He says, why? He says, because I simplified. They were playing with fractions. And he simplified as much as he could. And the teacher didn't like that he simplified as much as he could. And she called some of those mistakes when really he was right. He was doing the, you know, we punish people. He got punished for doing the right thing, essentially, instead of saying maybe there is another solution. So when we want to learn by doing, what does that mean? Learning by doing is essentially, you know, I don't know how this works in your teams, but I see teams that they get into analysis paralysis. They talk about something and they talk about it to death, and they never try anything because they're afraid that they're going to make a mistake, that it's not going to work. We want the perfect solution right up front. The invitation here is, what's the first thing that we can do that's going to teach us something? And we can learn from that. So one of the simple, basic example, if I come back to my team again. So with my team, we were organizing an event with the Chamber of Commerce. And we really did it at the last minute. I knew from the dates, by the time we published it, it was supposed to happen. There was 2 weeks. I said, there's no way we're going to get registrations, right? So I said, do it, finish it. They said, why? I said, well, we're going to know everything that we need to know to organize an event with that Chamber of Commerce. And if we need to cancel it, we'll cancel it. We'll reschedule it. But at least we'll know. Another one of my favorite stories around learning by doing is I had a hard time when I was younger, when I was that achiever guy I was telling you about. Making mistakes and me, we weren't very compatible. We were like oil and water. Okay? So when I was a kid, my father did a lot of woodworking. And I was never the handiest person in the world, but at one point it called to me in my life. Said, oh, let's go do that. So one day I'm doing this project, and I had no plans. I was making up the plan as I went. I basically had an example of what I was trying to build. And so I build it out. I build out this thing, and wood cracks, wood breaks, wood does all sorts of nasty things to me, and I get upset. And I take this frame that I was building, I throw it up against the wall, and I'm like furious. It's not working, damn it. So as I'm looking at it, I'm going, you're not going to have a very long career woodworking, are you, if you can't accept that you're going to make some mistakes? And I was horrible everywhere at that in my life at that point. I said, so what can I do? So what I decided to do is I picked up my project, and I started. Again, with the broken wood, with the broken stuff. I said, I'm going to make every single mistake I can, and after that, I'll go buy wood another time, and I'll start it over from scratch, but at least I will have learned all the little pieces, all the little joints I was trying to make, all the little... And you know what that created for me? That actually, what I realized after the fact is that created a safe space for me, a safe place that I could fail. And, you know, no one would see it aside me. I'd have to deal with it. And it's the same thing with the learning by doing. You know, how can you encourage your teams that it's okay to go out there, try something, try an experiment, and make a mistake? The problem I have with the learning by doing and with using experiments, I don't know about you guys, I hear two things sometimes. I hear the term agile is very jaded. No one is quite sure what that means sometimes. Another thing that I notice is with some teams, the term experiments can become very weird as well. It's a permission to do anything. If you're going to do an experiment, frame it. What is the experiment? What are we trying to learn from this experiment? How long are we doing it? And then check on it. What did we learn? What happened? Structure it so that you're actually getting learnings out of it. Co-creative leaders, that's what they do with their teams. They can work with their teams and they can help them figure out, what is this experiment? How do we frame this in a good way? How can we just jump? And then, you know, we don't need the perfect solution. Let's look at this in 2 weeks and see if we need to change it. Because if we need to change it, we'll do something else. And we'll keep evolving it. Does that make sense? Any questions? Because those are the 5 key skills of a co-creative leader.
Do you see a parallel to skill 5 with the doing portion? Like in regards to people saying, you know, making mistakes, making sure they don't do it?
Yes.
Do as they say, not as they do.
Yes. And that's the thing about leaders. You have to be the example for your team, right? If you're not showing them that you're learning by doing, when you ask them, yeah, it's okay, you can do it, they're going to look at you, they're going to want to pull out the bullshit card and go, well, no, you don't do it. Why should I? I don't believe you. And that's the part of the beliefs of the system that we were talking about. You're feeding that negative belief.